Hi everyone, I hope you are doing good. So continuing with the MMX series, till now we have studied about what is MMX, what are all the variables which are part of the data, and then we studied about what is marketing funnel. Now I'll start with the modeling phase, but before that I'll take a moment to discuss about how the data looks like. And as we have already studied, uh, what are the variables that we can expect in the data will now see uh, in the data now. So let me just share my screen. Yes. So as you can see on the screen, we have couple of columns here, and the first column is a date column, which to explain this column, you can see that we have around 5 years of data from 2015 to 2019. And I'll discuss about why do we need the data for a couple of years in some time, right? Before that, I'll discuss about these columns. So these are the TV. This is the TV data, and S represents the spend data. So you can see that we have spend data for a couple of uh, variables, marketing variables. And then we have the data for impressions and clicks. And then we have some competitors data as well. And then we have a dummy column here, which is a 0 or 1 column, which represents 0 represents that it is not a holiday, and 1 represents that it is a holiday. And then this L column represents that whether there was any event on that particular week or not. And then finally, we have the revenue column here. So this represents here that for this week, how much revenue that we have generated, right? And then corresponding to that, we have the marketing channels data, how much we have spent on the marketing variables, and then what impressions that we have got from the some of the channels, right? So this is the data that we have. And now I'll discuss about why do we need the data for a couple of years. So there are a couple of reasons for that. The first one being, so consider that we want to see the seasonality if there is any seasonality present in the data. And by seasonality, what I mean is, let's say we are in year 2017, and we know that since we are Indians, we celebrate Diwali, right? So if I want to see how much sales have increased in 2015 year during the Diwali season, I want the data for 2014 as well for the same time period, right? So that is why we need at least 2 years of data. So this is the reason why we need a couple of years of data. So, and the more we have, the more is good, because we can see year over year data over year, YOY, basically YOY change, right? And before going further in the modeling, directly jumping into the modeling, I'll take some time to discuss about how these channels data are getting collected, which will help you in your understanding about how these things, not much, but at least something, right? So here you are seeing that TV spends data only, but what happens is, so what this column means here is how much we are spending on the TV marketing campaign for this week, right? 2013, 23, 11, 2015. So this amount represents here that I am investing around 22,000 358 let's say dollars of money on TV spends for this period, for this week, right? But I want to also see how much mm, in return I'm getting, right? So for that, we have the metric called GRPs. If I have that, yes. So for TV, we have the metrics called GRPs. And what GRPs mean is gross, its full form, basically full form is gross rating product. And what's the formula to calculate this is we calculate the reach times frequency. And what this means is what percentage of population so ad. So let's say we have around 100 people in the population, and I'm saying that 50 people have seen the ad. So we have the first part ready from here. We have the reach now. And what frequency here means is what is the average number of times have they seen the ad? So if I'm saying that 50 people have seen the ad on average, let's say 3 times, so my GRP will be 50 times 3. That will be 150. So this is how the TV data is calculated. So next one is social media, and its metrics are impressions and clicks, which is very relatable. Um, So just to give you an example of what is impressions and clicks. So impression means that when you are surfing on Instagram or Snapchat and any ad which comes up while you are scrolling, that is called impressions. Let's say I'm scrolling Instagram and then I saw an ad, it will count as one impressions, right? And similarly, what clicks means is you saw an ad and you clicked on it, that will be counted as one click, right? So this is how the social media data is collected. And what else we have here is Facebook is social media, search and Facebook clicks we have already discussed. Newspapers more uh, will be more about how the subscription models, like how many people are subscribing to their newspaper. And then similarly to print, yes, this OH, let's discuss this one. This is an interesting one, which means out of home. So just to reiterate, what this marketing is, whenever we are commuting from one place to another, and we see large hoardings alongside the roads, those are called OOH, right? Now, if we think about it logically, whenever, so if it makes sense about how the social media works because we are seeing the ads and it is getting traced in the back end. But these are the traditional marketing channels. I'm talking about the OOH. So these are the traditional marketing channels, and no one is watching how many people are watching that banner which is placed alongside the road and who is not, right? So how do we quantify that? So for that, the marketing companies have various tactics. So they use the GPS data, sensors data, and nowadays they are coming with new techniques of deep learning, which is called computer vision, which is very obvious. I hope you guys know. So they are seeing how many people have seen that banner, like that. And we are not, and please note that we are not talking about the India. We are talking about US here. So all these analysis that we do, we keep the US market in perspective. So if you take an example of billboard, let's say, so that is a big screen, and many companies pay a very large amount to advertise their product there. right? So they want to see how many people have seen their ad, right? And also they want to quantify that, right? How many, this is the amount I'm putting in the billboard advertisement, and this is the number of impressions or the GRPs, or let's say uh, impressions, we'll say, how many impressions I'm getting. So they'll use advanced techniques of AI, they'll use the sensors data, they'll use the GPS data to track how many people have seen the ad, right? So this is the major thing about the data. And of course, when you'll start working in the industry, you'll have a rich data. This is just a dummy data that very less columns are there. But in the real world, what happens is we have the data for, let's say we have Facebook, we have the Facebook impressions data, clicks data, and then the spend data as well. And here we don't have much of the external factors data here. If you have seen my video, if you have seen my previous video, I have discussed about external variables as well. But if you have seen it carefully, we don't have much variables here except the competitors data. We should have the macroeconomic and others data as well, which you will probably see when you start working in the industry. But for now, we'll go ahead with this data only, right? So that's all for this video. I'll I'll talk about I'll talk more about the data and the modeling. Um, Talk about the data and modeling in the next video. Yeah. So stay tuned. Happy learning. Bye.